Hey guys, what is up? It's Swammer here, and today I'm going to be diving into damage mechanics in Pokemon Go PvP. And so the reason I'm diving into this is because it actually plays a significant role in different matchups. And in the last video that I posted, you would have seen Skarmory against Altaria a couple of times, and this is actually a surprisingly close matchup, even though Skarmory is resisting everything that Altaria is throwing at it and dealing neutral damage back. And their overall bulk is very similar, and they're both using Sky Attack as the charge move predominantly. So uh, it's pretty surprising, to be honest, that um, Altaria is able to hold its own in this match. And the reason that it is the way that damage is calculated in Pokemon Go. So um, I went ahead and opened up PvPoke and put in an Altaria with some okay PvP stats. This is actually the stats I've got on my Altaria. Likewise for Skarmory, decent PvP stats, and it gives us the attack, defense, and stamina of both of these Pokemon. So as you can see, very similar in terms of attack stat, and then defense is a little higher on Skarmory with stamina a little lower, but overall, very similar bulk, and you can see the stat product between the two, 21-21 versus 21-37, very, very similar. And we go ahead down and we look at how this matchup goes. And we can see that Skarmory wins, but at the end, he's left with 6 health. So it's basically a tie because Altaria has 45 energy. So if it was able to launch that Sky Attack, it would be winning. Uh, and this is quite surprising, given that Dragon Breath is going to be resisted, Sky Attack is going to be resisted, and from Skarmory, all of the attacks getting thrown back are going to be dealing neutral damage. And so the reason that this is because of the way that damage is calculated. So in Pokemon Go, damage is calculated as a big formula here. So we've got 0.5 times the power. So that's the power of the particular move that you're using. So for Dragon Breath, it's 4. For Air Slash, it's 9. Then you take the quotient of the attack divided by the defense. Uh, and that's of the attacking Pokemon and the defending Pokemon. Multiplier for same type attack bonus, for type effectiveness, and then for PvP multiplier. All PvP attacks have a times 1.3 multiplier. Then all of that is rounded down. That's what this floor function does. And then then you add 1. And the add 1 is just to make sure that you're not dealing 0 damage. But that add 1 is really important. Because if we look at Skarmory versus Altaria, and we say, okay, what is that Dragon Breath going to do? We just plug those numbers into the formula. We've got 4 as the power, Altaria's attack, Skarmory's defense. Altaria is getting same type attack bonus, so that's times 1.2. Effectiveness, it is resisted by Skarmory, so it's times 0.6. Times 1.3, and that gives us a floor of 1.2, which means that gets rounded down to 1 plus 1. And that gives us 2. And what that means is that this plus 1 at the end is half of the damage that Dragon Breath is doing. That's a huge, huge portion. It's doing, only if it was exact damage, it would only be dealing 1.2 damage per turn. Instead, it's dealing 2 damage per turn because it's getting so much benefit from this plus 1 at the end. And that's because Dragon Breath only takes 1 turn. So you're firing it off every time, and that plus 1 is adding on to every single Dragon Breath. Whereas Air Slash, we do the same thing, plug in the numbers, we get 9 as the power, Skarmory's attack, Altaria's defense. It is getting same type attack bonus, but it's dealing neutral damage, so this is just a 1. We get the floor of 4.86, that gets rounded down to 4, plus 1 is 5. So for Skarmory, that plus 1 is only accounting for 20% of the damage instead of half. So if we're looking at damage per turn, this is dealing 2 damage per turn for Skarmory, or for Altaria, and this is dealing 1.67 damage per turn. And this all comes down to Dragon Breath being a single turn fast attack, so you're getting this +1 over and over and over again. So what if we looked at it if Dragon Breath was a Confusion clone? So as you guys might know, Confusion deals 16 damage, gains 12 energy, and takes 4 turns. So both Confusion and Dragon Breath are 4 damage per turn and 3 energy per turn. So on a per turn basis, they're identical moves. They're the same stats per turn. But if we instead plug a Confusion clone in here, we're getting 16 as the damage. Again, Altaria's attack, Skarmory's defense, plugging in all those numbers, and we get the floor of 4.92 plus 1, and that is 4 damage, and that's 5. So even though Confusion and Dragon Breath have the same stats per turn, we're dropping down from 2 damage per turn to 1.25. It's a huge drop. And it is what swings this matchup. If Altaria was dealing, only 60% of the damage with its fast attacks, this would be a landslide victory in favor of Skarmory, which is what you'd expect, to be honest. But because you're getting the benefit of that +1 every single fast attack, and you're dishing out so many fast attacks, it actually swings this matchup. So this is something that's really important to keep in mind because it actually means that Pokemon with moves that require fewer turns, everything else being equal, will perform better than Pokemon with moves that require multiple turns. So this is just something to keep in mind. I don't think it should change your strategy when you're battling at all. And this is really just something that relates to the fast moves, but it will swing certain matchups in favor of one Pokemon, and this is the whole reason why Dragon Breath Altaria is so strong in the Great League, because it's able to still deal a decent amount of damage even against Pokemon that are resisting it, because it's getting the benefit of this +1. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's always interesting and helpful, I find, to know a little bit more about how damage is actually calculated. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.